What if everything you think you know about your existence is just the tip of an iceberg? What if the life you're living right now was planned, chosen, and designed by you before you ever took your first breath? For the next few minutes, I want you to suspend everything you've been told about reality, because what I'm about to share with you has been deliberately hidden from humanity for over 12 centuries. And once you understand it, you'll never see your life the same way again. There exists an ancient manuscript that describes something extraordinary, the precise journey your soul takes before incarnating into this physical world. Not the sanitized version you might have heard in religious settings, but the raw, unfiltered truth about what really happens before you're born. This isn't about blind faith or wishful thinking. This is about remembering something that was systematically erased from human consciousness. And if you've ever felt like there's something missing from your understanding of life, like there's a piece of the puzzle that's been deliberately kept from you, then what you're about to discover will change everything. Hit that like button right now if you're ready to dive deep into forbidden knowledge, and subscribe because we're just getting started on this journey of remembering who you really are. Most people go through life feeling like they're passengers on a train they never chose to board. Events happen to them. Relationships come and go. Challenges appear out of nowhere. And through it all, there's this nagging feeling that life is just a series of random occurrences, that you're somehow at the mercy of forces beyond your control. But what if that feeling of helplessness isn't truth? What if it's the result of a carefully orchestrated forgetting? According to this ancient text, before you were born, you existed in a state of complete awareness. You understood exactly why you were coming to Earth, what you hoped to accomplish, and what experiences would serve your soul's evolution. The manuscript describes 7 distinct stages that every soul passes through before incarnation. 7 sacred transitions that transform you from a being of pure consciousness into a human with a specific mission, specific challenges, and specific opportunities for growth. And here's what's remarkable: understanding these stages doesn't just satisfy intellectual curiosity. It fundamentally shifts how you experience every moment of your life. Pain stops being random suffering and becomes purposeful preparation. Relationships stop being coincidental encounters and become carefully orchestrated meetings with souls you've known before. Challenges stop being cruel punishments and become precise instruments for your evolution. The first stage begins with what the text calls the call of universal consciousness. Imagine existing in a state of perfect peace, perfect understanding, where you're connected to everything that is. In this state, your soul receives what can only be described as a cosmic invitation, an opportunity to take on a new human experience. This isn't a command from some external authority. It's an offering, a chance to grow in ways that are only possible through physical existence. The call comes as a knowing, a recognition that it's time for another journey into matter, another opportunity to expand consciousness through the beautiful limitations of human life. Many of you listening right now are feeling something stirring as I describe this. That's because the call never really stops. Even now, incarnated in human form, you continue to receive invitations to wake up, to remember, to step into fuller versions of yourself. Every moment of restlessness you feel, every sudden urge to change direction, every unexplainable longing for something more, these are echoes of that original call. When your soul accepts this invitation, you move into the second stage, the life review. But this isn't the judgmental examination you might imagine. There's no stern deity with a scorecard, no cosmic court deciding your fate. Instead, there's something far more powerful: complete understanding. Your soul experiences every action from your previous lifetimes, but from all perspectives simultaneously. If you cause someone pain, you feel their exact experience. If you brought someone joy, you feel their light expand. If you inspired courage in another soul, You experience their transformation from the inside. This review isn't punishment, it's education. It's your consciousness learning to hold the full weight of its choices, understanding the ripple effects of every decision, every word, every moment of love or fear. And through this process, your soul gains the wisdom needed to choose its next adventure with complete clarity. Think about the guilt and regret you carry from this current lifetime. Imagine if you could step outside of judgment and simply understand the learning that came from every mistake, every missed opportunity, every moment you wished you'd handled differently. The life review shows your soul that nothing was wasted, nothing was meaningless. Every experience contributed to the expansion of consciousness. From this place of understanding, you move into the third stage, the Council of Souls. Picture a gathering of beings who know you better than you know yourself. These aren't strangers making decisions about your fate. They're spiritual family members who have walked beside you through countless lifetimes. In this sacred space, you discuss what you hope to learn in your upcoming incarnation. What qualities do you want to develop? What patterns from past lives are you ready to transform? What service do you want to offer to the collective human experience? The council doesn't tell you what to do. They help you clarify what you want to do. This is where the planning begins. You explore different possible timelines, different family configurations, different historical periods that would offer the experiences you're seeking. Some souls choose lifetimes of comfort to focus on creativity and service. Others choose more challenging circumstances to accelerate their growth. Neither is better or worse. They're simply different paths toward expansion. The remarkable thing is that you're still connected to this council right now. Those sudden flashes of insight, those moments when you know exactly what to do even though logic can't explain it, that's guidance from your spiritual team. They haven't abandoned you just because you've taken human form. They're still there, still helping, still rooting for your success. Stage 4 is perhaps the most crucial, the choice of life purpose. Your soul doesn't incarnate randomly. It comes with intention, with mission, with a specific contribution to make to the human experience. This purpose isn't necessarily your career or your role in society. It's deeper than that. It's the unique frequency you're here to embody, the specific way consciousness wants to know itself through your particular perspective. Your purpose might be to learn unconditional love through challenging relationships. It might be to break generational patterns of fear or limitation. It might be to bring a new form of creativity or healing into the world. It might be to simply be a beacon of joy in dark times. Every purpose is essential. Every mission matters. The clues to your purpose are everywhere in your current life. What situations naturally energize you? What problems in the world stir your passion? What would you do even if no one paid you or thanked you for it? Your purpose isn't hiding somewhere outside of you. It's woven into the fabric of who you are. And here's something beautiful. Your soul never chooses an impossible mission. You were given everything you need to fulfill your purpose. Every talent, every challenge, every strength, and yes, even every limitation serves your mission in some way. Nothing about you is accidental. The 5th stage involves choosing your specific incarnation details, the choice of body and family. Your soul examines multiple possibilities, multiple family lineages, multiple genetic configurations, and selects the one that will best serve your chosen purpose. I know this can be difficult to accept, especially if you've experienced trauma, abuse, or significant hardship. It might seem impossible that any soul would choose suffering. But your soul sees with different eyes than your human personality. It understands that strength often comes through adversity, that compassion develops through experiencing pain, that wisdom emerges from working through challenges. You didn't choose your parents because they were perfect. You chose them because they carried the exact energetic patterns that would trigger the growth you were seeking. Sometimes that growth comes through love and support. Sometimes it comes through learning to love yourself despite lack of support. Both paths have value. Both serve the soul's evolution. Your body, too, was carefully selected. Every physical characteristic, every genetic predisposition, every capability and limitation was chosen because it would serve your soul's journey in some way. The soul isn't interested in perfection. It's interested in experience, in growth, in the expansion of consciousness through every possible form of existence. When you understand this level of intentionality behind your life circumstances, victimhood becomes impossible. Not because your pain isn't real or valid, but because you recognize that somewhere, in a state of complete wisdom, you chose these exact circumstances as the perfect classroom for your soul's education. Now comes one of the most profound stages, the veil of forgetfulness. For the human experience to be authentic, for your choices to carry real weight, for your growth to be genuine, you must forget your eternal nature. You must forget the planning, the purpose, the spiritual support system. You must become fully human. This forgetting isn't cruel, it's necessary. Imagine trying to learn courage if you remembered that you're immortal. Imagine trying to develop faith if you could clearly see the spiritual realm. Imagine trying to choose love if you already knew that love is all there is. The veil creates the conditions where your choices become meaningful, where your growth becomes real. The veil is applied with tremendous love and care. It's not meant to be permanent, just temporary. Like a lucid dreamer who chooses to forget their dreaming so they can fully experience the dream, your soul chooses to forget its true nature so it can fully experience being human. But the veil isn't perfect. It's designed to thin as you grow, as you're ready to remember. Children often see through it more easily. They remember past lives, talk to invisible friends, display knowledge they couldn't have learned. As we age and become more conditioned by society, the veil typically thickens, but it can be consciously thinned again. Every moment of intuition, every synchronicity, every deep knowing that comes from beyond logical reasoning, these are places where the veil is thin, where your true nature shines through. The spiritual path is really about learning to recognize and trust these moments, to gradually remember who you are while still honoring your human experience. Finally, we reach the seventh stage, the leap of faith, which is birth itself. After all the planning, all the preparation, all the conscious choosing, your soul takes the ultimate leap. It leaves the realm of perfect knowledge and pure love and dives into the dense, challenging, magnificent experience of physical existence. Birth is perhaps the most courageous act possible. You leave infinite expansion and accept finite limitation. You leave complete knowing and accept uncertainty. You leave constant love and accept the possibility of fear, pain, and separation. And you do this not because you're forced to, but because you recognize the incredible value of the human experience. Every baby born represents a soul brave enough to take this leap. Every human life represents consciousness exploring itself through the unique lens of individual experience. When you were born, you brought something into this world that had never existed before, your particular way of being human, your specific perspective on existence. The cry of a newborn isn't just the lungs learning to breathe. It's the soul acknowledging the magnitude of what it has just undertaken. It's the beginning of an adventure that will take you from complete forgetting back to complete remembering, with all the growth and expansion that journey entails. Now that you understand these 7 stages, everything changes. You can't go back to seeing yourself as a victim of random circumstances. You can't pretend that your life lacks meaning or purpose. You can't deny that you're far more powerful and eternal than you've been taught to believe. But knowing this brings responsibility. If you truly are the architect of your experience, if you really did choose to be here for specific reasons, then every moment becomes an opportunity to honor that choice. Every challenge becomes a classroom. Every relationship becomes a sacred encounter. Every day becomes a chance to fulfill the mission your soul set for itself. This knowledge has been hidden not by accident, but by design. Throughout history, those in power have recognized a fundamental truth. Conscious, awakened humans are impossible to control. A person who remembers their eternal nature doesn't live in fear. A soul who understands their true power doesn't accept limitation. A being who knows they chose their experience doesn't play the victim. Religious institutions benefit from keeping you small, dependent, and fearful of divine judgment. Governments benefit from citizens who feel powerless and look to external authority for direction. Economic systems benefit from people who believe their worth comes from external achievement rather than internal truth. But you can't unknow what you now know. You can't pretend that you're just a random collection of atoms stumbling through a meaningless universe. You've been reminded of your true nature, and that changes everything. The path forward isn't about rejecting your human experience or trying to transcend all challenges. It's about embracing your humanity while remembering your divinity. It's about honoring your emotions while knowing you're more than your feelings. It's about engaging fully with life while maintaining awareness of your eternal nature. Start by paying attention to the moments when the veil is thin. Notice your dreams, especially the ones that feel more real than reality. Trust your intuition, especially when it leads you toward growth rather than comfort. Look for synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that seem to confirm you're on the right path. Meditate regularly, even if just for a few minutes each day. In silence, you can hear the whispers of your soul, feel the presence of your spiritual support team, and remember glimpses of who you really are. Don't expect dramatic revelations. The remembering usually happens gradually, like dawn slowly brightening the sky. Most importantly, begin to live as if what you've learned is true. Make choices from a place of empowerment rather than victimhood. Treat every person you meet as a soul on their own journey, potentially playing a role in your pre-planned experience. Approach challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Trust that your life has meaning and purpose, even when you can't see the bigger picture. The souls who incarnate during this time period are here for a specific reason. You're part of a wave of consciousness that's waking up to truth that has been hidden for centuries. Your remembering isn't just personal. It's part of a collective awakening that's shifting the entire planet. Some of you will become teachers, sharing these concepts with others who are ready to remember. Some will become healers, helping souls integrate their spiritual nature with their human experience. Others will be way showers, living examples of what's possible when someone remembers their true nature. All roles are valuable. All contributions matter. The world is changing because souls like you are waking up. As more people remember who they really are, the old systems based on fear and control lose their power. New ways of living based on love and consciousness begin to emerge. You're not just healing yourself, you're participating in the healing of humanity. Comment below if this message resonated with something deep inside you. Share it with someone who needs to remember their true nature. And subscribe for more content that will support your journey of awakening. The veil is thinning, the memory is returning, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be in this magnificent process of remembering who you've always been. Your soul didn't come here to play small. It came to expand, to experience, to contribute to the greatest story ever told. The story of consciousness knowing itself through countless unique perspectives. You are that story. You are that consciousness. You are exactly what this world needs, exactly when it needs it. The ancient manuscript speaks of one final truth. Once a soul begins to remember, the process cannot be stopped. The awakening becomes inevitable. The return to full consciousness becomes not just possible but certain. You've started that process by listening to this message. Trust it, honor it, and prepare to be amazed by what unfolds as you remember more and more of who you truly are. The journey continues, the adventure deepens, and you're no longer walking it alone or unconscious. You're walking it as the eternal, powerful, magnificent being you've always been, temporarily wearing human form to experience the incredible gift of physical existence. Remember that. Live that. Be that. The world is waiting for you to fully show up as who you really are.